me from C to T, all the people you've met, what it is about that person, and babe, you give them there's a prize. Yes, there's a big prize for that. So I'm just gonna move here. Faith, would you wanna tell me who I should meet? No, as the spirit leads me. Oh my God, do people know what spirit leads? Yes, young man. Who is C? Who did you meet? C.
I'm terrible at remembering names, but yeah, Chibuzo. His surname starts with an L. But Aziza.
Aziza, yeah. C.
There was a Tunde somewhere.
Okay. Who's the L?
Gentleman there.
Okay, Lalo. Okay, and then the Y.
I didn't meet a Y.
You didn't meet a Y. Oh, okay. Is there anyone here who had a catalyst, who met someone from C to T? Anyone? Or if you remember anyone that you met? Anyone? Somebody? Anybody? Yes, brother.
Called what?
You meet people, all the people that you met from Catalyst, Catalyst.
I didn't meet anyone.
Wow. Okay. Faith.
Okay, I'm going to go to someone. Do you remember anything you met from anyone?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go on. Do you want to share?
You mean the word I say?
Yeah, with the words and everything.
Loving.
Loving.
Yeah.
What about C?
Oh, see. No, that one I didn't get it right.
Yeah, do you remember?
Safe.
Safe, yeah.
See, carry.
Okay. You're laughing over there, so I'm going to come to you because I know you're trying to hide yourself, but you're wearing green, so you're standing out. Go on.
Well, I said she's calm, amicable, she's tall, she is awesome, lively, simple, youthful, young. I said youthful, young, and simple. You said simple. I said simple.
Oh, single.
And then tall.
Okay, awesome. What's your name? Gloria. Okay, so let's clap for Gloria. Okay. Got all of them. I'm going to give you the prize. Okay. So we have some tickets for you after the event to a concert. So we'll give that to you after. Yeah? Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. Okay. So next up, we're going to have a conversation, right?
No.
All right. Okay. So next up, we're going to have another activity, okay? Because people didn't quite pass the catalyst one. So can we get everyone standing up? And if you answer yes to the question, you're going to stand up, okay? So can we all rise up on our feet, please? All right? Good. All right. So if you are from the southern part of Africa, please remain standing. Southern part of Africa. No, I said southern part of Africa. No.
What, we have only one person from the southern part of...
No,
oh, Pastor Tammy.
Tammy, okay.
Oh. Oh.
Southern part of Africa. If you're from the southern part of Africa. So you sit down. Unless it's a yes, you remain standing. No. You can participate. Okay. So we have one person. Oh, how strategic. Oh, come to the front, please.
Can we give him a round of applause, please?
All right. So since everyone else is sitting, I'm going to ask one more question. And if you are from this part of the world, can you please stand up? If you are from Italy, please stand up. come forward. Yes.
Can you give her a round of applause, please? Thank you.
Oh, I'm picking on the minorities, yes. Okay, so since the event is called Catalyst and you're from different parts of the world, and the thing that unites us most is what? Dance. Ooh. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to play a song. We want you in 10 seconds to interpret what the word catalyst would be in a dance move, okay? So,
Yes.
my husband here is a very good dancer.
I would
Demonstrate.
So I don't want to put you guys on the spot. Can I get music, please? Thank you. No. It's a tutorial. This is Catalyst.
Okay, catalyst.
So it's kind of like just one leg up
Start with the leg.
and just go down. And then when the beat comes, just go with the flow. Whatever it is that makes you feel good. You could do whatever. If you wanna shovel, you know what they call the shovel is. When you want to dig, you're digging for sand. It could be anything that you want. You could make as a dance in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, DJ. Okay, so who goes first? Zimbabwe or Italy?
Ladies,
such a gentleman. Okay, so DJ, can we get the song again?
Here we go.
Hey, Italy.
Here we go. Yes.
Hey, Italy.
Let's go.
No.
Come on. Let's go. Oh, she's put on the spot. Nice. Woo. Nice.
Give her a round of applause.
See, you said ladies first, so she has put the bar up there. So it's up to you as to what would you do in this moment, DJ. Oh yes. Come on now.
Zimbabwe,
Come.
show
Oh
us.
yeah. Okay. He's praying. Okay. Well done. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm not sure how we're going to choose who won.
I think in this fair thing we would let the main man himself decide who he thinks or what goes on here, because another round. I like that. That is good inspiration right there.
All right, we're having another round. New song. Have you got another song?
Can you get another song, please? Any song.
Let's get DJ.
Yes, song is coming. It's coming. I think they both go together. They go together. So we know who's who. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay.
You're the one I want, oh. Before my liver start to fail, you're the one I need, oh.
Alright now.
Before cassava start to hail, and if I ever leave, oh, make what I carry me, they go far away. So I am looking for this.
Okay. Again, I don't know how we decide. It's a
tie. Yeah, it is a tie.
Okay, so you both win, and we'll give you a prize after. So well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
You'll remind the prize.
Definitely.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you to you both. Okay. Are we good to go? Are we good to go? Yes?
Yes?
Brilliant.
Okay. Right, so the next up, we are having a conversation. Yes? Yep. With the lovely... Thank you. You see, this is my catalyst. You know, everyone needs a catalyst in their life. This is my catalyst. Without her, I'll just be. So yeah, so our first interview will be the lovely Abby Godwin. She is a unique gospel recording artist on sermons with keeping the deep love of God. She is true to what she does. She's a significant God-given person with what she does with her music, and she brings love, healing, and restoration to the broken and abused through her music. I'm a big fan of this person, and I'm looking forward to this interview. So with a round of applause, can we please welcome Abby Goldwyn. So thank you for coming.
It's an honor to be here.
I think I remember the last time we first met was in 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was after 2005. We hadn't seen each other for a long time, have we?
Yeah, 13 good years.
Yes. Wow. And then I'm seeing you now.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So happy to see you.
I know that you've got a single out, and you're going to be performing that for us later on after the interview.
Yes, yes.
Good. Okay. I just want you, just for people who might not know who you are, do you just want to briefly share your journey as to who you are, what you do, how did you get to this point that you are in?
Okay. I'm going to try and keep it brief. I do have a really, really long journey, really long story. But Abby Godwin, who am I? I am someone who is eccentric, extroverted. I love God with all my heart. I have been through hell and high water. You know, things like abuse, things like homelessness, all sorts of things, sickness. And I have seen God come through in such an amazing way. I have seen God, I have experienced him in such a real way. And I'm very passionate about that because my faith brought me through a lot. I mean, let me share one of my experiences. There was a time where I was so ill and the doctors wrote me off as I couldn't work anymore. Cut long story short, I became homeless and I had to sleep on my clothes on the floor, and that was my bed. And I would wear those same clothes, go to church on Sunday morning and sing my heart out and minister. And I used to say, you know what, Lord, this is my weapon. My praise is my weapon. And as hard as that season of my life was, I'm glad I went through it because for me, my music is a weapon, it's a tool. I'm not so much interested in becoming big and famous. For me, if someone can hear my music in a car park and give their lives to Christ or receive a healing, that is enough for me. If all that comes, fantastic. But I really want to see people go through a lot. You know, they put on makeup, you know, look good, but they're crying on the inside. And a lot of times, even when we go to church, we don't get that real love that that Christ wants us to show. And that is where my passion is. When I see someone, even if it's a young girl who's down and out and doesn't have a smile on their face, you don't know what they're going through, I will go out of my way to make sure I show them that love, you know, because you just never know whether that day they're planning to go and kill themselves or something. So that's what keeps me going. I smile through everything, and I hold on very strongly to God's plan and purpose for my life. And I just love on people. I think I have too much love to give. And people won't understand me. But there is always, the glass is always half full.
Good. Okay, interesting, because you mentioned about some of the things that you went through, which was going to lead to the next question. So in all of that, with the homelessness, with all those things that you were struggling with your health and with people and all that. Can you tell how you went through? What was the challenge? What was the most challenging thing that you went through, and how did you go through, and how did you overcome it to get to where you are?
I think I don't even know where to start, but one of the most challenging things I faced was not being understood. When you look fantastic, you look great in pictures. That's God's glory covering you, and people don't understand why you make everybody laugh. Why are you going through stuff? I don't know if I should share this, but one of the things that was really difficult for me to go through, and thankfully I was able to overcome it when I became an adult, because I found out that it affected me more than it actually did. When I was young, I went through abuse, as a childish abuse. I went through sexual abuse, and that was the hardest thing to face and to go through, because obviously growing up, you're made to feel like it was all your fault. And for a long time, I questioned God, why?
It's okay. I mean, what you're in essential, what you're going through or what you've been through, actually, it's a testimony in itself.
Yeah, I tear up, not because I'm sad.
Oh, I know.
I tear up because I'm a champion, and
Yes. Amazing to where you are. Praise God, right? Yeah. Thanks. Okay.
I tear up because I just realized how far God has brought me, and I'm grateful for that. So that was the hardest thing I had to go through, and my faith helped me a lot. I used to worship my way every night and just cry. I'm very emotional, by the way. But it's not tears of sorrow, it's tears of joy, because when you do carry something.
Yeah. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay. Final one before the song you give to us.
Yeah.
What key nugget or advice would you give to those out there who might be going through maybe different challenges or similar challenges of what you went through before? What kind of advice or nuggets can you give for them?
I'll say hang in there, one day at a time. Find humor in everything. There's always something don't look. Life is serious. Don't take yourself too seriously. And just hang on to what God has said, because a lot of times, what the destiny that God has planned for you, you never look like where you're going. You never look like where you're going. So just hang in there one day at a time. When you feel low, when you feel down, pick up the word of God. Play some worship music. It's okay. I know in church a lot of times we're meant to look, well put together. We're not meant to. A lot of times people hide what they're going through, and they're going through deep, deep stuff that even the church can't handle. Just know that you're not alone. I've come through it. I'm strong. I'm healed. I'm, looking forward to taking on the world for Christ, and really touching lives. So just hang in there. Hang on to your dreams. Hang on to your purpose. It's going to be okay. Keep walking.
Amen. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Abby Godwin. So you're going to perform your single for us now.
Yes.
Her song is called You've Got Me Feeling. It's
Yes.
there you go. You can get it on Spotify, you can get it on iTunes, Apple, all she's there. And she will perform a single for us. I would get one myself. So enjoy and be blessed. Thank you.
Hallelujah. Thank you very much for having me. So we're going to do this one together. It's my new single. I released it in August this year, and it's titled You Got Me Feeling. It's talking about the love of God and how that powerful love of God has brought you through stuff. I mean, you should have died a long time ago. Does anybody have a story in here, or is it just me? Just wave, just wave, just wave. And God's love has got me feeling 10 feet high, and that's what this song is about. So let's stand up on our feet. Okay, got another one. Fantastic. Let's stand up on our feet, and let's sing this song together. Yep, please roll the track. Okay, while they're getting set up, I'm going to teach you a little part of the song. So, can the guys sing, you got me feeling, you got me feeling, yep. You got me feeling, you got me feeling. Sing it louder. You got me feeling, you got me feeling. And the ladies, you got me feeling. You got me feeling. Okay, so we're gonna do this together, okay? Can I have the track a bit louder, please? Say I'm free.
Free.
I'm free.
Free.
I'm free.
I'm free.
I'm free. Let's go.
Dance if you're glad you're alive and feeling good. Ha! Shoulda lost your mind after all that you've been through.
Shoulda lost your mind. Shoulda lost your mind, but you
Money on the low and the gas bills overdue. Let's give another round of applause. Awesome. Woo! My voice is going. Thank you, Sammy. I think we need one more. Actually, no, it's all right. We've got that. Yeah. Yeah, we've got those. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Abby. And what a wonderful testimony. Thank you. I celebrate you. Thank you. Awesome. Sweetie, bring it more in the middle. And let's get that blue chair connected as well, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, babe. Okay, now if that wasn't enough, freedom. Let's say that again. Freedom. Awesome. Wow, it's so funny when you hear someone's story and they now sing that song, you even rejoice more because you're like, wow, she literally is free. Hallelujah. Okay, so we now have another conversation, and we have it with two dynamic individuals. So the first person I'm going to call up is Erin T. Erin. So Erin T. Erin is a John Maxwell certified speaker, coach, trainer, in addition to being a singer, songwriter, worship leader, and mentor. This is a dynamic individual. Come on. Wow. Erin T. Erin ministers through various avenues to establish the kingdom of God here on earth. Now, I've been on one of his training courses, and they're absolutely amazing. So let's welcome Erin T. Erin. Please take a seat. Either if you sit on one of these comfortable ones. Yeah? The middle one is right. Yeah, the middle. Perfect. Okay. And we now also have Kole. Kole is married father of two. You're married. But you did not add that on your biography. Okay, let's cover his base. Oh yeah, he's married. So his wife married and has two children too. Okay, all right, okay. All right, so Kole is married, happily married, father of two. He's a senior project manager, program manager, who is passionate about knowledge, the institution of marriage, and his relationship with people. He strives to ensure that he leaves people better than they were when he met them. He finds fulfillment in helping others and gravitates towards kind-hearted people. It's like he's been on your coach thing, right? Okay. He does. Okay, let's welcome Kole. Welcome. Okay, so we can have you on one of those seats. All right. Now, we're also going to have Laulu Opebi, who is the person who put this amazing event together. He's an author, a preacher, a father. He has many lists and titles too as well. So let's welcome Laulu Opebi as well. Okay. So here you go. Is that on? Let me just double check it's on. Yes, it's on. Okay. So, do we have an extra mic? If not, I'll just use this as a Roman. We've got an extra. We'll use it as a Roman. Okay, we've got one. Okay, so do you want me to begin?
Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead. So one of the reasons why these gentlemen are on here is because they are my friends. And the reason why I brought them on here as my friends, as you all know, is no big secret. I'm over 40 now, hence the book, 40 Things I Learned by 40. So one of the reasons I brought them on here was for them to tell us about their journey to 40 and what kind of changes it made in their lives. Now,
I'm the youngest, by the way.
Hold on. Okay, youngest actually. Really? But you're still over 40.
Let's not say your age.
But you're still over 40. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to start with Kole. Now, I've known
Kole. The youngest now. He wants to start.
Now, I've known Kole for, this will probably give away his age, since 93, 94, 93, 94. Yeah, when we're like that high. One thing about Kole, I think he has shown himself to be the most intelligent out of all of us because they didn't put to his title. He's actually a doctor, PhD. So out of all of us, he's the one that has gone the extra step further. So Kole, how did you feel when you were approaching
40, and what kind of changes did it make you go for in your life?
Well, I think for me, I had a bit of a time travel experience when I was 36. When I was 36, I realized that 40 was knocking on the door, and I felt a lot of pressure because it was very difficult for me to live up to what my dad had achieved. So at 40, my dad had achieved a lot. I think he had his 6 kids, he had properties. He was like on the board of directors of the biggest company in Nigeria back then. And this was me, a business analyst, still trying to squeeze together daily rates and things like that. And I'm like, okay, so how do I measure that? And it was the pressure at that age. But before I got to 40, I took this to God that, okay, what's this pressure about? And I kind of realized that everyone's story was different. And God just said to me, live your story. And while I was young, I was one of those people that found it difficult to understand my talent, my gift, and I thought I didn't have any. And I had to kind of look at 2 characters in the Bible. One was Joseph and one was Daniel. And they got to the same pinnacle in their lives. And Joseph then, pastors really used to talk about how he had a dream and the process through all his, the pits, the Potiphar's house, prison, before the palace. And there was nothing like that with Daniel. And all Daniel had was every challenge he had, he just went back to God. And God said, okay, your case might be the Danielic case as opposed to the Josephic case. And I said, okay, whatever you do, just take it to God and take it step by step. And I just started taking my life step by step, detached myself from my dad's story and started my own story.
Oh, wow, that's great. So what would you say has been your biggest achievement after going through that process?
Identity. Yeah, I got to discover who I was, which was a bit of a struggle for me. I've known you for many years. I've known Aaron for many years. And I think while we're in uni, people always said I walk in Aaron's shadows. And, oh, you know now why you squeezing your face. Yeah. And, there were some terrible rumors. Yeah. People said Aaron used to hang around with me because I had money, and that me, I walked in the shadows. But we got to that point where I had to define who I was. Yeah. And I think one of the things I wanted to... Somebody came to us on the Rock years ago, and he preached, and he said, if you want to earn more, learn more. And one of my biggest fears in life was being broke. And just not, yeah. And I was like, you know what? Whatever it is, a quest for knowledge, just keep learning. And I just don't stop learning. And I think one way or the other, out of the, let's say, 100% of what I know, maybe 40% is what's bringing money in, but I don't stop learning. So it's the knowledge, it's understanding. And even when I read the scriptures, that's what jumps at me. So people see things out of the scriptures. I see things around wisdom, around knowledge, around understanding. So that's what's been defining my life.
Oh, that's great. So we're going to ask you one more question, but I'll let Faith ask the question this time.
Oh, okay. My question was, what are some of the things, I guess you can name maybe 3 things that you wish you knew back then that you know now that would have really been that catalyst moment for you back then?
I think going back to early years, I think some of us started life a little bit later than we expected. So when you started to identify what you wanted to do, it was a bit late in the day. Things that you should have known when you were 18, some of us didn't know until we were 28. Yeah, so starting that journey. And for me, if you have an idea, you don't have to be clear, have an idea of what you want to be at the age of 18, then become an apprentice to that thing. So that by the time you're in your 30s, you're mastering it. By the time you're in your 40s, you're running it. Yeah, so I think we've just gone to the point. We started to get into this thing at 28, 30, and then that was where we became apprentices. So I think we started a decade behind.
Yeah.
Well, no time is lost when you're working with God, right?
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Awesome.
Okay, thank you very much, Kole. Thank you. Okay, so we're now going to... Yes, go ahead, give him a hand. We're now going to come to the man with many titles, like Faith has said. Aaron.
Hey.
Now, before I go to Aaron, I have one picture of Aaron.
No!
Have you got it?
I have one picture of Aaron, but unfortunately he's not here. Is the good one. Is the good one that's actually on here. But you know, that picture was taken at the beach many years ago. You remember you remember that time? Yeah, Takwa Bay. Yeah. No, Aaron looked rough, man. If you had seen Aaron then and he was walking on this side of the street, you'd have quickly gone to the other side of the street. You know, but God has been with him. So Aaron, tell us about your journey to 40 and what were your feelings and what were the major changes that it made you go through.
Thanks for the opportunity, and it's good to be on the couch. You've just made Collie's day. He's always wanted to sit on the couch. I think getting to 40 was getting to 40. I didn't have any issues until 39, but when 40 was clocking, I was 40 in October, not this past October. It kind of dawned on me that there was something. I thought I had found purpose. In fact, I had found purpose. But all of a sudden, I just had this restlessness that there was so much more that was supposed to have happened in my life. Now, when we were in uni, I had always been a very strategic person. So I had told myself that if I don't make it by the time I'm 30, I'll start a church and call it offering.
Pastor Tim, you didn't hear that.
So, if you know anything about Nigeria and Nigerians, Aaron is an Igbo man. So, you know what he usually says is that when God catches him, he's Aaron, but when the world catches him, he's Tochukwu. So I think that was Tochukwu talking. Exactly. When it's not Tochukwu on the couch now, it's Aaron on the couch. So let's go back to Aaron.
Yeah. So arriving 40, there was a whole lot of stuff going on in my life. A lot of things that I would have wanted to have achieved that I didn't think I had achieved. But you also had a lot of people who were looking up to me that you've done so much, you've achieved so much, and people looking at you that way. But I myself felt there are things I wrote down. I mean, if you know anything about me, as a 1995, I had plans, I had books, I had things I'd written that I should have achieved at different milestones. So I've done all the planning, all the goals, and things like that. And really, when I looked at my book, actually, I'd achieved most of those things, but it meant there was a certain hunger. I was privileged. My wife, so 40 for me was also my 10-year anniversary. So we had a destination party. And I remember that day of my 40th birthday, I did a 2.5-hour walk. Wow. I just kept on walking. I just kept on walking.
Trying to roll back the years.
I don't know what it was, but I didn't know whether I was going to walk back. But I just kept on walking, and I was full of a lot of thoughts, and also used the process and used the opportunity to make certain decisions for the next chapter of my life. So I think typically everybody would have some kind of apprehension. Just like Colin said, at the end of the day, it still all boils down to your identity. And everyone has to have identity. One key thing, if you follow me on social media, I posted this week, you have to celebrate your victories. So at some point it switched where I had to recount and see some of the things. I may not have everything I wanted, but I had actually done so many things that I could be grateful for. And that feeling itself just does something different from you. If you start thinking about failure and negativity, it will create a different type of emotion for you. But when you start becoming grateful. I didn't speak English in school, but anyway, when you start becoming grateful, it creates a different emotion. Yeah. So at that point, when I switched to gratitude, what I noticed was I could see things that I could thank God for. I remember times when I shouldn't have made it, accidents, all kinds of stuff that was happening in my life that God had brought me through.
Yeah, and okay. I was just going to ask. So, how did you differentiate from these are my personal successes I wanted to achieve versus what you felt external people felt you should have achieved? Do you understand what I mean? Like they're two separate, different things.
at the end of the day, it was, for me, the most important thing was still how I felt, my purpose. People don't know what I think I should be. But how I found myself where I am in the first place was also people. So
Yes.
people are also very key. Like Pierre will say, I was one of those people who, being an able boy, I wanted to just make money.
Yeah.
So when you talk about things like ministry and all that, I just felt if you did all those things, you were lazy. And I remember sitting down at home. Remember we had this big meeting in my house one bank holiday, and every single person in that room, in that living room in my house that day, had almost everybody in that room had a connection with me as a result of ministry. As a result of me, I used to run a 100-man mass choir on campus. So every single person, and people in that room were asking me, so why aren't you singing? And at that point, what people, that was a pointer for me, the fact that people saw me in a certain way, but I didn't see myself in that way. So because of that singular action, I decided to pay attention to it. And that was how I got back into, I thought I was fine, so I sing in church. And as far as I was concerned, that was my contribution to ministry. It wasn't that I needed to be an artist. But at that point, I found out that if I didn't play my role, certain people would never come into their own. So I knew that I needed to play my role for people to come into their own. So my identity became as a result of others and not about me.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aaron. Can we give him a round of applause, please? So that is my friends who are somewhere close to my age. I wouldn't say what their ages are. Thank you very much. It was great having you up here.
Time is up.
And
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a present for us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, awesome. I wish those interviews could go on for longer. I think you might have to start a podcast or something, interviewing people. I think that would be great. Yeah. Okay, so our last conversation, we are going to have Pastor Temi. So Pastor Temi is the resident pastor of House on the Rock, London. He is an author, life coach, leader. Sometimes when you read all these titles, you think, what am I doing with my life? Teacher, inspirator, preacher, and much more. He even has much more. Wow, awesome. His passion is to demystify truth and make it applicable to real life scenarios. A forward navigation strategist with great emphasis on productivity. He's happily married to Abisoye, and they have 3 children. And he really is a doctor, not just PhD, doctor. So let's welcome Pastor Temi.
Okay, so what do I call you on the couch? Doctor or pastor?
Any other day is all right.
So he is a medical doctor and also the resident pastor of House on the Rock, London Lighthouse, which is the church I attend. So he is my pastor. And yeah, we're going to ask you a few questions. But before I go into asking him a question, he talked about a series in church a few years back where he talked about productivity. And on the back of that, he just made it so simple what we do as to become productive. And off the back of that, I had the idea for a book. I had just been holding that for a while. And after that series, I said, you know what? I need to do something with the talent I have, with the seed I had. And I went ahead and I published my first book based on some of the inspiration I got from him. So I'm going to ask him a few questions around productivity, and hopefully somebody will feel inspired to become more productive with their life. So thanks again, Dr. Pastor Temi, for being here.
Thanks for having me, Nam.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what would you say about productivity? I know that's one of the things that you're really big on. How would you encourage someone to become more productive, and just to simplify the whole aspects of productivity?
I believe that we are all created with productivity innately. The very first conversation that God would have with man was be fruitful. And I'm all about demystifying truth and trying to make it very practical. To be fruitful is to be productive. And it would have been very unfair of God to ask us to be fruitful, to be productive, if we did not have the capacity to be productive. So foundationally, I don't care who you are, how tall, how short, what color, wherever you are. Innately, you have the potential power to be productive. And productivity is the key to ultimately you having dominion in life. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So it means that everybody shouldn't just be a consumer.
Yeah.
There's something that we have that other people can consume as well.
Oh, yes.
So how do I tap into what I have to give out to other people to consume?
It comes naturally to a plant to produce fruit. So sometimes we are looking for a product that is so far outside of us, or we're looking at what somebody else is doing, and then trying to do what somebody else is doing, and overlooking what comes naturally to us. I would say finding your own productivity starts with you identifying what comes naturally to you. You naturally are drawn to speaking, naturally drawn to organizing, naturally are drawn to singing. Whatever it is, that's your product right there. It might be unrefined, it might still have all sorts of glitches inside it, but if you would work on it, you'll be surprised what will come out of it. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So could you give any tips on how I can package my unrefined product and take it from where I am into the marketplace?
Well, your testimony, your story is obviously one of the ones that is so inspirational. When you told me those number of years ago how the series on unleashing your productivity triggered or catalyzed you bringing out your first book, it inspired me. And sometimes we overanalyze. And we let that over-analysis paralyze us. Sometimes you just got to do it. Just, do it. And the first time might not be perfect, might not be excellent, but just do it. And you will learn so much from that experience that next time around you're a whole lot better. Next time around you're a whole lot better, and you keep on getting better and better and better. Expose yourself to knowledge. Expose yourself to very good teachings. It will help you to improve whatever you're productive, to get a whole lot better in whatever your product or service is. And when I talk about product, it's not just about a physical product. Product also encompasses your services, what you do. For all you know, your smile might just be your product, because nobody can smile like you can smile. Like nobody can laugh like I can laugh. I have this belly laugh that... Yeah, so I think those are some of the key things I would say, that getting a mentor is good. Getting mentors, people that are doing things that are similar to what you feel you're called to do, so that they can mentor you, you can learn from them, increase your knowledge, and just do it. Start somewhere. Don't wait for perfection. Perfection actually is kind of like an illusion, because what's perfect today, when we look at it tomorrow, is not so perfect anymore. So it's something we're always going to be pursuing, and I would encourage you, just do it. My first book was my first book. But it's getting better every time.
Okay, so I presume that book is sitting on the shelf somewhere.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm actually working on revising and expanding it, because in the core of it, the message is totally still relevant today. It's just about updating it to the day that we're living in, and working, even though I'm so busy as a pastor, still working on quite a few products myself. Don't let anybody put you in a box. Don't let anybody define you. This is what you are and all you are about. Nah, there's so much more to you than meets the eye, and there's so much more to me than meets the eye. I do more than pastoring.
That's great. I think one last thing I would ask you, being a pastor and the message from the scriptures, they date back to so many years, but then they still find a way of being relevant in modern society. So I think the church has some kind of knowledge in making itself more relevant. How would you advise people that have maybe a gift that they think is outdated, or ideas that they think are outdated, how would you advise them on how to get into the mainstream, get into the modern world, move with the times?
Just like the Bible, the message is evergreen and does not change. But the methodology in passing across that message must change and does change. So I think what people really need to do is you need to understand what your core gift, your core talent, your core product is. And you are not betraying that gift by using modern methodology to enhance it or get it out there or utilize it. I think sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm betraying my gift. This is the way I always used to do it, and I want to keep on doing it exactly the same way that I've always done it. Meanwhile, the world is not on that wavelength anymore. And meanwhile, bottom line, you're trying to reach the world, aren't you? So you got to be willing to change your methodology. I think the Apostle Paul put it this way. He said, I become all things unto all men, that by all means I might win some. So in other words, I'm going to work on how can I still be relevant without betraying the very core of my message. So I'm still going to talk about Jesus, but I might need to tweak how I present it in the initial so that at least they'll listen to me. Yeah? That's what I think.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Pastor Temi. It was great having you on the couch.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. Listen to this guy. He's got good stuff. Yeah.
Right, a round of applause for everyone that has come up here. You guys having fun so far? Yeah? Good, good. Now, there's going to be the next act, which is called out. Now, this is good. This is really good. I mean, this is for the first time for one night only in this year. We have called out music, and he'll be hosting his debut headline concert live in London in November, I believe, November the 10th on a Saturday. His name is official, well, his government name, and I said my government name was Joshua. His government name is Samuel Onwachuku. It's an Igbo brother. Oh, no, okay. Sorry. Yeah. He's a Christian singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and producer who has won multiple awards in the UK and has released songs that have blessed many around the world. And we are blessed to have him today. He's going to be performing a track for us. So could we welcome Called Out? Thank you. Just a quick announcement. For those who are watching live, we are trying to fix the problem. So we're going to switch it off for a bit, and we'll be back on very shortly. So please just bear with us for a few secs. Thank you. Should we tell them to pause?
assume everyone just waiting for something to happen. So, just, I don't like silence. Sorry. So it's just. So how's everyone doing? Like, it's a quick show of hands. How are we doing? Out of 10, I'm like an 11 right now. So I'm really having a good time. So.
Okay, before we start, while my brother generates the atmosphere, you can play on, brother. Keep playing. Just generate. Just want to quickly, sorry, Abby. Can someone tell me what they've learned or found out so far today with the whole interviews and with everything that's going on? Just one thing. Anyone? This lovely lady here. Hi. Is there anything that you've learned since with the whole conversation that's gone on today?
Identity and knowing who you are.
Okay, good. What about identity and knowing who you are?
It will propel you forward, give you an idea of where you're going and keep you focused. To not be distracted by what's happening around you.
That's good. That's very good. Anyone? Yes.
Encouragement. Because when we want to do something very perfect, it's fear. So it's an excuse, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just do it. Definitely. I've been there before, like everyone else. They say, I want to do it perfect. I want to perfect this. I want to perfect that. Excuses. You're too afraid. That's why. So, yeah, encouragement.
That's good. Encouragement. Yes, I saw someone's hands up. Yes, Lauren.
Well, I was just inspired by what the pastor said about perfection is an illusion. And sometimes we don't start something because we're waiting for it to be perfect. And that was just very encouraging to hear that it is an illusion. Just do it.
Thank you. Okay, so we are back online and present my brother from same town, same grace. Called out, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my days. Amen. So what I like to do, just off the cuff, I just like to worship God, right? So all I'm gonna ask is if you just, open your hearts and let's just worship. It's not, just make your own space, create wherever you find that suits you, that you get that connection to God. Just feel free, amen. We're just gonna have some fun. So open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart, 'cause I want to see you. I want to see you. Do you know the words? Can you help me sing? Open the eyes, open the eyes. Open the eyes, open the eyes of, 'cause I want to see you. I want to see you. We want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high, to see you. You will be shining in the, pour out your power as we sing holy, holy, holy. So open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Just make it your prayer tonight. Open the eyes, 'cause I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to see you. Yes, open the eyes of my heart. Oh, Lord, I want to see you. Yes, I want to see you, see you. Yes, I want to see you high, to see you high. Yes, we will be shining in the, pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Jesus. Jesus, you are holy, holy, holy. Savior, you are holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. 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 I want to see you, oh God. I want to see you. I want to see you. 'Cause our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Yes, our God is an awesome God. Yes, God, He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Love, our God is an awesome. One more time, our God is an awesome God. He reigns, yes, Lord, from heaven above with wisdom, power, love. Our God is an awesome God. Say, my God, just brag about it, is an awesome God. He reigns, yes, from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Oh, love, our God is an awesome God. You see, the reason I love to sing that song so much is as I've grown older and older and older, you start to see the greatness of God in ways that you've never seen before. And when people say, oh, God is really an awesome God, like when I was little, I used to hear my parents say, oh, Samuel, the God you serve is awesome, you know? And I'll be like, yeah, I know, but I didn't experience it. You know, it's only till you go through certain situations in life and then you're at the other side and then you look back and you're like, wait, what happened and how did I get here? You know that kind of how did I get here testimony? Do you know what I'm talking about? And I just sing that song so much. He's an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom that I can't ever think of. Does that make sense? Amen. And I love the stories we've been hearing today about just, going for it. Perfection is a myth. Because I'm only 2 years into ministry. I'm only 23. I started making music at 21 professionally. And to see what God has done in 2 years just because I said yes. Does that make sense? So I've always had a dream. And one thing I realized is when God says go, you just go. Like, it doesn't matter how you're going to get there, because certain situations will come around and be like, yeah, how am I going to get a studio? Like, what's going to happen? Or who's going to listen to the music? But God says, go. So I went. And because I obeyed, He took care of everything for me. Amen? And it's just so good now knowing, because it wasn't easy to obey. I'll be very honest with you. It wasn't easy to just say, yes, I'm going to do it, even though I don't know where the studio is going to come from. I don't know where the money is going to come from, but I'm going to go. And I don't know who I'm speaking to. I don't know where the money is going to come from for your business idea. I don't know. I can't tell you that. I don't know where your finances are going to come from, but you know God is telling you to go. So why don't you tap into your faith and go? Amen? And I love the theme of tonight. It's all about a catalyst. I think that's quite unique, especially in my walk. So I'm 23, but I've only started living for Jesus Christ when I was 20. I know you're going to judge me. You can judge me. It's okay. But even though I grew up in a very, very Christian home, many people who know my father, my dad is I call him a militant Christian. You know, those fathers who wake you up at 4:30 in the morning. We need to pray. We need to, their morning devotions every single day. I was in church every single day of the week. Sunday is Sunday service. Monday is Bible study. Tuesday is prayer meeting. Wednesday is singles meeting. Why am I going to singles meeting? But Dad, I'll go. Thursday is another prayer meeting because we like to pray. And then Friday we have night vigil. And then Saturday we'll have choir practice and we'll set up for Sunday. So I'm in church every single day of the week. But here's the thing. I missed the point of our faith. So because I was in church every single day, I became used to it. And it became a thing of, I'm going to church because that's what you do, right? But I didn't get it. I missed the gospel of Jesus for 20 years. Even though my dad was, like, I knew this God we serve, like, I knew how great he is, right? I've read stories about how mighty he is. I knew how awesome he is. I knew how miraculous he works. But I still didn't have a relationship with him. So my catalyst was when I got to university and I saw the real world played out in front of me. And something in me just said, yo, Samuel, you have to make a decision. Because this is the make or break. And at that point, I said to myself, Lord, your grace is all I need. Oh, Lord, you see the best in me. That's why I call you Yahweh. I call you Yahweh. And I had this prayer in mind. It says, when I'm walking through the valley, let me feel you next to me. And that's my prayer. And that's my prayer. That's my prayer. Lord, you know my thoughts. You know my heart. You know my prayer, Lord. You know my prayer, Lord. Yes, you know my thoughts. You know my heart. You know my prayer, Lord. And because I made a decision in my mind and in my heart to follow Christ, he made everything fall in pleasant places for me. Amen? Before I leave you, I'm just going to sing one common song that we used to sing when I was growing up. Remember I told you I used to be in church every single day of the week, right? The funny thing is the praise and worship leaders would sing the same song every single day of the week. I don't know, maybe they felt inspired in a different way, but we thank God for that. You know, I'm not knocking anyone's confidence. God is glorified. You know the whole good morning, Jesus. Yeah, every morning, like, guys, I love you, but change the songs, please. Yeah. But there's a popular songs that I grew up to love. And what I did was, when I had the opportunity, I decided to write a remix to it, because that's what you do, right? So when, that's not what you do. But when you recognize a song, feel free to join me. Is that all right? Amen. So it says, seasons come and seasons go, but your love remains. You said I'll never be alone, and you've kept your promise to me. So I'll stay on the way, and I'll fix my eyes on you, Lord. And if I sway, you bring me back to you. You're so merciful and kind. That's why I'm singing, Lord, you are so good. Oh, Lord, you are kind, yes. My Lord, you are wonderful. My Lord, you... Do you know the song? Lord, you are so good to me. Say, Lord, you are... Every day that I live, oh, Lord, you are kind, yes. My God, you are wonderful. My God, you, my Father would say, so excellent is your name, excellent. Oh, excellent is your power. My God, you are wonderful. My Lord, you are. So excellent is your name. Excellent is your name. Oh, oh, oh. Lord, you are wonderful. My Lord, you are excellent. I say, Lord, you are wonderful. My God, you are. And I'll testify every day. I'll say, Lord, you are wonderful. My God, you are. You guys have been incredible. Thank you for having me.
A round of applause for Called Out. What a blessing, what a blessing, what a blessing. It's amazing. And I've not met him before. Don't know him. Honestly, I don't, right? And found out where he's from and everything, and found out he's a Christian. And he actually sang the song that I actually sing every day at home. That song. Literally that song. And yeah, I like the way you generated, man. I'll come to the concert and join you on that chorus part of it. But, so his concert is on November the 10th, 5 p.m. Yeah, details will be sent out. Please be there. Hopefully by his grace, I will be there. Amen. All right. We're going to have a quick break just for 2-3 minutes. So you can get off your lovely face. There's some snacks in the corner. There's a 3 lovely cakes out there that personally I want to take them for myself. But yeah, it's all sold out. Well, not sold out. It will be selling out. Got some strawberry cake, vanilla cake, and what's the other one? Red velvet. Oh wow, people have gone there already. Okay, so please, we'll be back shortly in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So can you just kindly, enjoy yourselves. Thank you.
To say there's nothing wrong, but my heart can feel right through your camouflage. Don't try to tell me you'll be strong, I've been there too. I know this road is hard. Oh, yeah.
When the ache feels stronger than the strength you feel inside, it's there in your weakness, His grace will abide. Just let me send out a prayer, a cry for help to heaven from here. Just let me send out a prayer, speak hope into despair for you. Let me send out a prayer for you.
We're here to help each other, weather these storms together in the name of love. Oh, yes, but that's what friends are all about. Here to help each other out when the push comes to shove.
I'll pray you through anything you may face. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause I'll plead your case. Just let me send out a prayer, a cry for help to heaven from here. Just let me send out a prayer, speak hope into despair for you. No need to worry, 'cause I'm in your corner. No matter how the road may I'll pray you through anything you may face. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause I'll plead your case. Sends out a prayer, a cry for help to heaven from me.
A prayer away, a prayer away.
Let me send out a prayer, a cry for help to heaven from me. Send out a prayer for you. Send out a prayer for you.
wanna see you doing good. I don't wanna get rich, leave you in the hood.
Okay, everyone, can we get back for seats, please? Thank you very much. If you're still getting cakes and all, it's great.
And I don't want you rocking the fabrics. Girl, I wanna give you carriage till you feel you a rabbit. Anything in your path, once you can have. Walk through the mall, if you like it, you could grab. Total it all up and put it on my tab. And then tell your friends all the fun you had.
Tell me what you want from me. Take a look at what you see. Let me know if it's right here. Something you can have for you. Tell me what you want from me. Take a look at what you see. Let me know if it's right here. Something you can have for you.
Hey mama, won't you come here to Popeye? You don't like the way your tatas looking at shada. In the 600, ain't no smoking cigada. Come over here, I think I see your baby father. Here go the number to my casa. If you in a rush, you call me mañana. Whatever you need, girlfriend, I got the whole enchilada. Just the way you like it, Mace gon' do you proper. Girl,
Okay, can we get everyone seated, please? Unless you are waiting for your drink and cake, that's understandable. But if anything, can we all get seated so we can get the event rolling? Thank you very much.
Just trying to be fast. And I ain't gonna ask who smashed the E-class. Pull up to the rib with the whole front crash. Now you wanna laugh? Good thing that's the past. If you ever lie again, girl, that'll be your last.
Tell me what you want from me. Take a look at what you see. Let me know if it's right here. Something you can have for me. Tell me what you want from me. Take a look at what you see. Let me know if it's right here. Something you can have for me.
Now the more you treat me royal, I adore you. That's why I don't mind doing these things for you. You did things for me, you wouldn't believe you did. That's why I always wanna keep you here. In a year or two, girl, I can see you with my kids. Girl, you make a thug wanna get a legal bid. It's only right we spend our lonely nights getting crazy big.
Lately there seems to be some insecurities about the way I feel, where I wanna be. But you know what's with you? No one can do the things you do to me. Never to be mistaken, long as it's love we're making. There's gonna be some rain, gonna be some pain, but as long as I know, boy, time will show, our love will grow, and I know love will be right here, be right here, right here, be right here.
Let's rock.
Can you rock for me? Oh, baby, not stopping me. Can you take it to the top of me? I just wanna love you, baby. Always thinking of you, baby. Can you roll with me? Oh, baby, hold over me. Can you take control of me? I just wanna love you, baby. Always thinking of you, baby. I think I like how your body feels next to me. Oh, baby, when you're kissing me. Oh, baby, when you're loving me. I can't describe what I wanna do to you tonight. Oh, baby, when you come to me, I'll make it so you never leave.
Okay, we need to get the event rolling. So if you are not buying anything, can you please come to your seat? Or if you have purchased your item, please come to your seat, as time is essential. Thank you very much. DJ, you are making this event break longer. So can we take the music down, please? Thank you very much. Yep. Can we get everyone seated? Is everyone seated? If you're not buying anything, can you please come to your seat? Thank you very much, as the event is just about to start. All right, for those who are streaming online, just to let you know that Abby Godwin's single is out on all musical download platforms. You can download them now. A song called Feeling So Good. Feeling so good. Feeling me so good. Feeling me good. I'm not going to say feeling me on. Yep. And also, Called Out, he actually has tickets available. If you want to buy a ticket for your friends, family, tickets for his concert, he's got, yep, for November. Thank you. Yeah, so if you want tickets for his Called Out Music Live in London, which is happening at the Grace Point, Essex Road, London, N1, 2SN, you can buy tickets here. Or if you're streaming online, you can get them on Eventbrite. Just put in Called Out Music. But if you want tickets here, we've got tickets available to sell. Okay, moving on to itinerary. So today is all about Catalyst, and who else than to introduce what it is other than the main host himself. So as everyone is seated, hopefully, allow me to introduce to you the man of the hour. Do I call you pastor or just Laulu or Pepe? Oh, sorry, Laulu. Can we please with a show of hands, appreciate Laulu Opebi? It sounds weird coming out from my mouth, but Laulu Opebi, Father, forgive me. Round of applause, please, for Laulu Opebi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Casey. Haven't Casey and Faith done a wonderful job tonight? Yeah, come on, give it up for Casey and Faith. And our DJ in the house, he was stuck in the traffic, so we didn't get some of the good jams when we did the dance off, but he's here finally and he's giving us some very nice music. So give it up for DJ Yems. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, and those of you still in the corner, settle down a little bit. We're going to go into the last thing for evening, and it's going to be a very short documentary that we're showing tonight. And this documentary is based on the story of 40 Things I Learned by 40. Now, I had some of my friends up here, and they gave their own experiences of what they went through when they were turning 40. And so the 40 Things I Learned by 40, for me, was a kind of a journey of the things that I had learned and some of the emotions I went through and some of my reflections before I now pen down the words of the book. So this short documentary just shows you all of that. And we've titled this documentary Catalyst. Last year was the major book launch. So this year is just a follow-up promotional to what we did. And Catalyst is just talking about what caused me as a dormant person to all of a sudden become active and start doing something. Catalyst is talking to you as an individual as well and saying that even though you feel like you're dormant or other people feel like you're dormant, there is something that can make you become active. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you as an individual has to change. A lot of times, people that want us to change tell us we have to change. But the purpose of a catalyst is not to tell you that you must change. The catalyst just inspires you, and you just be who you are. And all of a sudden, the you that is you that people didn't appreciate, they begin to appreciate it because something has happened. And so we've put together this short documentary just to capture that journey. So are we ready, sound guys, video guys at the back? Are we ready? Yeah? Good to go? So everyone settle down and pay attention to the multimedia screen and enjoy the journey of Catalyst.
There is a belief that in the beginning, some elements which had been drifting in space collided in a big bang, and the universe was born. There is another belief that the world as we know it was created by the power of the Word. Whatever the belief, it is clear that something caused everything to happen. From what we know, it's quite risky and costly to harness the power of an explosion to birth something new. However, the Word has worked effectively, and we have used it for centuries to build. Our ideas, knowledge, information, expressed in words, have been used to build clans, communities, commodities, companies, cities, countries. We have used our words to create new worlds. The word that describes the abstract and brings it into actuality, that transforms dormant elements into dynamic entities, that calls our attention to great possibilities. The Word is the catalyst.
Life is like a journey that we've never traveled before, or like an experiment that we've never carried out. Sometimes we're not quite sure what to do, and so we wander around. And when we do, we get stuck in a rut, and we need someone or something to jolt us out of that rut and get us back on track. And the good thing is that we can always learn from people that have gone before us, and they make our journey more directed or the experimentation more accurate. It's always funny when I hear of people that make it seem like they've always known what they wanted to do with their lives, and they just went straight for it and got all the results that they needed. But life is more about experimentation, and possibly for people like that, they had role models that helped them to make that experimentation more accurate at an early stage of their life, and so they've been able to gather great results. But it's not true for most people. I remember from my own experiences, when I left university, I studied electrical and electronics engineering, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with that. And so a family friend came to my dad and said he knew someone that worked in an IT consultancy company, and I should take my CV over to the company. And so I prepared my CV, I put my cover letter together, put my best effort into all of that. And I was quite excited about the opportunity of working with an IT consultancy firm. And so I got there and I met this man that I was referred to. I gave him a copy of my CV and my cover letter. And then he looked through everything and he looked at my cover letter and then he looked back at me and he said, "You call yourself a graduate and you can't even write a cover letter." And then he pushed it back to me and he says, "Well, I'm sorry, we don't have a space for you in our company." I was quite disappointed because there was one spelling error on my cover letter. And, you know, this man had just fobbed me off and said, you know, there's nothing for you. And so I left there feeling quite disappointed. And over the next few months, I found another job. And this was working for a guy who was selling satellite phones at the time. This must have been 1999. And he was paying me very ridiculous money, very low. And when I think of it now, he's still owing me about 4 months' salary because a few months into the job, he just stopped paying and, you know, said he couldn't afford it and he wasn't paying his staff. Anyway, I left that company, went on to another company where I worked as an IT engineer installing radios for internet communication. And then not too long after that, in 2001, I left Lagos, Nigeria to go to the UK to study for my master's. When I finished my master's, I started working with a charity for a while. And then after some time, I thought to myself, you know what, I need to do something more because the bills weren't being met. And I was a young father, just recently had a child. And so I started thinking, look, I need to do something more. And I spoke to a couple of friends and somebody told me about business analysis. And said, you know, with your IT background, you should be able to do this, and also recommended someone to me to train me. And when I went for that training, it wasn't so much what the trainer said, but his experiences, his stories, just inspired something in me. He was so inspirational in what he was saying. He let us know about his life, where he was coming from, some of the things that he had done. He had worked for some of the biggest companies in the world, you know, and it was just so inspiring that something just clicked on the inside of me, you know, and I said to myself that if he can do this, then I can do it myself, you know, and that was where a kind of a new chapter started in my life, because not too long after that, I made some changes, you know, studied all the material for the course, passed the exams I needed to pass. And then I got my first job in an insurance company, and I got a few more jobs with some great companies. But then what really struck me was that a few years of doing this, I got a call from an agency saying that there's a certain company that wanted me to come and work for them. The name of the company was BCG. And I thought to myself, no, it can't be the same BCG I'm thinking about. So I went online, did some research, and actually found out that it was the BCG I was thinking about, one of the top 3 consulting firms in the world. And then they arranged the interview, and I got the job, to cut the long story short, you know, and that just blew my mind, because, you know, possibly about 10 years, 15 years before, I was in that IT consultancy company in Lagos, where this guy is telling me I'm not good enough, you know, and that colored the next few years of my life in terms of my aspirations for any type of job like that. But, you know, fast forward, here am I working for one of the biggest consultancy firms in the world, one of the most prestigious ones, you know, and it just goes to show what a catalyst can do. A catalyst is defined as a substance that increases the rate of a chemical reaction without undergoing any permanent changes in itself. So a person or a thing that precipitates an event or change can also be described as a catalyst. A catalyst can cause something that everyone said was slow or not working to all of a sudden become very potent. It will make the dormant very active. It's not everything or everyone that can be a catalyst to you. And sometimes you get told things like, you're just too slow, or you're too quiet, too laid back, not friendly enough, or you're too loud. Something is definitely wrong with you. You know, we get these things being said to us all the time. You know, I know for myself, some people think that I'm too laid back. But a catalyst is never there to define who you are meant to be or who you are not meant to be. It just gives you the drive and the permission to be effective at who you are. The catalyst just releases the best of who you are, gives you the permission to be who you need to be. A lot of lessons I learned in life came from my parents, from my home, and from my mother in particular. And my mother is West Indian, and she married my dad, who is Yoruba. And they moved to Nigeria, and we grew up in Nigeria.
There were differences and there were similarities. There's this respect for adults, and that was one very positive thing that I found in Nigeria, which I admired, because it was, you know, the same standard that we had back in the West Indies.
A lot of things that she used to say, coming from the Caribbean culture, and also things she had learned from the Nigerian culture, she would drum them into our heads to be the best that we can be, to do the best that we can do. And a lot that I've written in terms of lessons in this book comes from some of the things that she said. And when you read through the book, you'll find some of the funny stories and experiences in there. When you encounter a catalyst, you will know there will be no sense of condemnation for all the mistakes that you have made, and you know you've made some. But in the presence of a catalyst, there will be that determination to try again and make it work. A catalyst does not try to make you go in their direction. They just free you up to go in the direction that you are meant to go. Look for your catalyst in people or in places, events, experiences, or even books that inspire you, and stay in that atmosphere until you're firing on all cylinders. The thing about a catalyst is that once you encounter a catalyst, it sets you on a journey that just keeps going on and opening up new doors of possibility in your life. Like I said, you have to stay in that atmosphere that helps you to fire on all cylinders and just keep going. From time to time, we're going to need to get into the presence of a catalyst again to get to a new level. I've been in the presence of several catalysts at several points in my life. And another experience that acted as a catalyst for me was when I was turning 40. Now, approaching my 40th year, I just looked back into my life and saw so many things that were not done, and things I thought would have been done by that age. And it just set me on a journey to start looking back into my life to see, you know, what I had learned, what I had achieved, and all of that. And that's how this book came about. It was never intended to be a book. It was just intended to be reflections that I had made over my last 40 years.
I read the book actually before it was published. That was 3 years ago. And I was intrigued by the book. It wasn't a book at the time. It was emails sent to me. I was wondering how somebody could wake up one day and say, I'm writing 40 things I have learned in 40 years. So I started reading right from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And after the first read or the first day, I started sending it to my nearest and dearest. This thing challenged me. You know, it really challenged me that nobody is too old to learn.
I even got an offer from a friend who is a designer, and he was like, look, when you're ready to publish this book, I'll design it for you for absolutely nothing.
I was following every day, and I thought that this is actually quite good stuff that people should, not only close friends should be a part of, but should be shared with a wider audience. So I approached him and said, well, I do not have a lot of money to buy you that Lamborghini or Ferrari that you want for your 40th birthday, but what I can do is that I can put all the devotionals together into a book format so that you could actually share it with a wide audience.
So the next year again, as I was approaching my next birthday, my wife began to take those writings and post them on her Facebook wall. And again, it just created such buzz.
I decided to share the emails on my Facebook page because I have quite a number of friends and family members who I thought the content would be useful for. It inspired me greatly, it blessed me greatly, and I just thought that it would be a good thing for others to be inspired and blessed by the content of 40 Things I Learned by 40. A lot of people were equally inspired by the daily write-ups. A lot of people even contacted me to say, oh, they would want to know more about the writer. It's an easy read with pictures in the book. I mean, who doesn't like books with pictures in it?
And you all know of my terrible experience when I got pulled off a plane at gunpoint because someone thought I was a terrorist. It was quite a scary episode because, you know, 2 officers had guns pointed at me and were telling me to get up. In those moments, my life kind of flashed through my mind again. And, you know, that same question keeps on coming out. You know, what are you doing with yourself? How are you making an impact? There were several people that helped out in the journey as I decided to publish the book. There was my friend, the designer, who helped put all the design together. Then I had another friend who did the proofreading of all that I had written.
I love the way Laulu brings together humor and narrative to get home salient points. So it's not just a book that you're just reading sort of from from beginning to end, or front cover to back cover. It's engaging, it's humorous, it makes you laugh at times, even though some of the points are quite serious, but it still drives home the message that it's intended to drive.
One of the chapters in the book that I really, really liked had a message in it about the ant. And I just thought to myself, what would be the best way to promote this book and to get the message out there as clearly and as best as possible. And I had this idea to do a video of the ant, so kind of like a dramatized version of what was in the book. Because nowadays there's so much media everywhere and people get really engaged through different types of media, not just text alone. And so I came up with this idea of putting a short video together, just dramatizing the story of the ant. And I had a few ideas, and so I called up another friend who is standing behind the camera, and he said he doesn't want to appear on the camera because he's not pretty enough. I ran the idea that I had by him, and I said, you know, would you be able to produce a video for me for this? And he said, sure, why not? It was such an amazing video, as in it just opened up another level of creativity on this project of 40 Things I Learned by 40. By the time I shared the video with a few friends, it went wild amongst, you know, all my friends. They shared it in so many places. And, you know, I had a lot of people just writing back to me and saying, wow, wow, wow. Yeah, the ant video was just amazing. After that, we were able to produce 3 other videos from the book, and all of this was put together and was used to promote the book. And that's where I came up with a plan for a book launch, but I wanted this book launch to be something quite unique, something quite different. And I started putting a team together and talking to them about my ideas, and everyone was like, wow, we've not heard this type of thing before. You know, we haven't seen it being done anywhere, so let's go for it, let's try and do it. And we went on planning for months to put the book launch together.
As part of the 40 Things I Learned by 40 book launch, Pastor Laulu took us on an amazing journey. And part of this journey was to visit the Royal Albert Hall. The 40 Things I Learned by 40 book has a chapter called The Silent Note. And Pastor Laulu's attempt to make us really understand why he had written that chapter was taking that trip to BBC Prom, Royal Albert Hall. And for Bolani and I, we've never attended such events. So a message was quite clear while the performance was actually going on, the orchestra. It was dead silence. There were thousands of people there, and it was very quiet. I remember someone went with us as well, and he needed to cough. He couldn't, and we couldn't even smile, or laugh, because the next person near you is because they just want that silence. Right after the orchestra, everybody clapped. The silence was broken. Everybody clapped. Everybody cheered. In life, we go through the frustration of silence. So at some point in our lives, in the journey of life, we will experience a period where we just need to get quiet. Everything seems very silent in our lives. And at that point, you can't even cough. You can't sneeze. After that silence is over and there's light at the end of the tunnel, hey, there's cheer, there's jubilation, there's clapping, there's rejoicing, and so that was the message for the silent note. I called it an opera, wasn't it? Yeah, but she called it an opera.
The reason that we're here is we came to watch an opera show.
I'm not trying to say no, it's not that. But yeah, it was fun. And thank you, Pastor Ladu. That's the first time I've attended the BBC Rom. I never even knew what to expect, but now I know when next I'm going, I won't eat peace.
No one seems to like being called small. Where I grew up,
I was part of the team that helped with the video. I was in the video.
Adults, children, male or female alike, you would hear one say.
The message that I got from it was that, as an ant, you're so small, but then you can do anything.
I felt the message of that video was profound. That ants can be as powerful as they are.
Most would immediately opt for
not I say insignificant animal you kind of see, but the wisdom that was extracted from what they did and how they actually lived their life. I can see me applying that in my life as well, and I can see that, many things we take for granted, but I was able to see that, okay, you can learn from anything.
I thought the book launch was amazing. Just seeing it all come together, all the musicians, all the decoration, and just planning on the day. It was just an amazing event. The fact that it was on a boat, I think that it was a very inspiring event. I've never been to a book launch as creative as this one.
The whole setup from start to finish was really, really world class.
It was a one-in-a-million event. It was the event, the location itself stood out. It was we were floating on the water.
The day I wasn't expecting what I saw.
I thought it was very well planned, very well put together. It was very, very successful. Everything ran really smoothly, which is a great credit to the project manager, Melanie. She did a really, really fantastic job planning the event. It was very smooth from beginning to end.
I think what was great is that every time we had a conversation, most of it was conference call, we always left inspired, and I think that's testament to the author, Lauli Opebi. He always seemed to drop some gems every time we spoke, but honestly, we just all gelled well together. We were all very driven, we pushed one another, we challenged one another because we really did want the best.
I like the contrast between the videos and the music, but most of all, I thought it was very profound. I was working with the artists and the musicians on the night to support the event.
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really well organized. It was like, a big production. I thought it was exquisite.
It was an excellent event. It was really very well put together. I like the location, the fact that it was, on the boat. I played my saxophone. I had a wonderful performance, I believe. I think I serenaded people into some jazz tunes.
Lauli turned me to become a Spanish singer on that day, making me sing La Bamba, which was quite an interesting experience, which also talks a lot about the person he is, always pushing edges and pushing people to do more.
Unique event,
Being an MC and compare, I'm asked on a regular basis to come and host and facilitate and compare book launches. I can honestly say hand on heart that I had never hosted, facilitated or compared any book launch like the 40 Things I Learned by 40. The role I played at the book launch, obviously, it was a privilege and a pleasure for me to be asked to host, compare and anchor that event. And I pray that those that came, that they enjoyed it as much as I did.
A lot of thought had gone into it, and you could tell from the beginning till the end. So the lineup of speakers, the lineup of musicians, the videos that were put together that was so profound. So you had like this video about the aunt and then a song to go with it, and so everything was a really beautiful experience because the author kind of let into his world in terms of how he thinks and how he sees things, but also had really creative pieces to kind of complement that. So I loved that blend. I think the atmosphere was lovely. The kind of people that attended, it was a beautiful mix.
It was on a boat on the Thames. It was just a beautiful kind of venue, and it's my type of book launch. There was music, there were readings from the book, there were animations from the book. It like everybody was kept entertained throughout the whole evening.
The way people were really impacted by the event, and the book 40 Things Before 40, just really touched me, and having read the book myself just really gave me a lot of insight to the story that this man was telling.
The cake is inspired by the author himself. One of the tiers of the cake, I tried to incorporate the author actually writing the book. So it's in a private library or a studio with a chair and a desk and copies of the book on the table actually. And I guess that was one of the highlights of the cake, as well as the screen in the cake, which is very different, which is very modern and new, incorporating an iPad into a cake. That was very fun to make, and the whole idea of that was to allow snippets and clips of certain clips of certain parts of the book to be played on the iPad as the event was going on. It was such a joy to create the cake. It was such a joy to make the cake. And it did receive quite a lot of positive reviews.
Okay, thank you all very much. I hope you enjoyed that short video and presentation. Okay, so we have come to the end of the night, and I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. We apologize for the late start because there was quite a bit of traffic in getting here, so it affected quite a few of us. But I'm sure you enjoyed yourself immensely tonight. And I just want to say a big thank you to a number of people without which we wouldn't have been able to host this event tonight. So I'm just going to go through and thank a few people for all their help and support. Let's give it up for the sound guy, Mike, who helped us out with the sound. Okay. So I will start off with the video. So that short video, it was like about 27 minutes. But as short as it was, it took us weeks to get this done. And in the last 4 days or so, the video editor, I invited him to my house and I locked him up for 4 days. So he was literally living in my study for 4 days so we could get this ready.
I took him away from his wife, took him away from his family, you know, and we kept on joking that, look, I'm sure you're going to report me for kidnap or something, because every morning I'll bring him tea and toast and say, do you want anything else? You know, and he'll say, oh, he's going. I'll say, no, you can't go. We have to finish this. I want you to help me say a very big thank you to Isaiah for his work on the video. And I had a lovely team working with me, doing the marketing, doing all the posts that were going out on social media. How many of you saw the posts on social media? Yeah? Okay, great. So another person that worked on that with me was Dami, and Dami did such an amazing job. Okay, and yeah, that's Dami there. And the big banner that you saw when you were coming in, that was Dami's work. He put that all together, himself and his wife. They supported on that. Over the last 40 days, we've been doing that. I also want to say a big thank you to my project manager. So she pulled together everyone and pulled all of this together so that we could have a good time tonight. And I think she's done an amazing job, as always and as usual. So thank you very much, Bolanle. I also want to say thank you to all the team that was here tonight to help out. There's the guy working on the projection and making sure that, you know, the guys on YouTube were seeing what we were doing, and also making sure that the guys in the room are seeing what we were doing. And he's been able to pull all of that together. So thank you very much, KG Adewale on the projection stand. Thank you, Esther, for helping us out with the books and the drinks and all of that out there. Who else? Who am I missing? Am I missing somebody? Yes. We also had someone taking pictures tonight, and also a lot of pictures that we used for the event and last year as well. She put all of that together. Very tireless person when it comes to her work and just making sure that the quality is amazing. Thank you so much, Bisi Daudu. Thank you for putting that together. And then we also want to thank all our hosts. Yeah, we also want to thank, I'm coming to that, I haven't forgotten. We also want to thank all our guests tonight. Some of them have had to leave, but we say thank you to Abby Godwin. Wasn't she amazing? Also, we had Kole and Aaron C. Aaron. And then we had Dr. Pastor Temi as well. Okay. And comparing the evening tonight was a lovely couple, husband and wife. And we talked about this for a while, and I said, you know what, you guys should do this. I'm sure you've got it. And they did such a fantastic job. You know, the guy even made our guests to cry on the stage. That's not an easy thing to do. So thank you very much, Casey and Faith and Yaun. Okay, and then we also did another recording. So apart from what we have on YouTube, we have a high definition. I think he said it's 1080 by 520. I don't know what the technicalities are, but it's very good production. So that video was being recorded as well. And how many of you remember the drone video? Did any of you see the drone video? Yeah. So it was my brother-in-law that put all of that together, and he's here again tonight. So help me say a very big thank you to Shay Liskeru. Okay, and I cannot end the evening without saying a special thanks. A very special thanks to the cake tress herself. How many of you love the cake tonight? Yeah, she did that. And, you know, when I started this whole journey of 40 Things by 40, you know, she kept on asking me, you know, what do you want to do for your 40th birthday? And she put together an amazing birthday party for me as I turned 40. And as the book came out, you know, she did a lot of groundwork to make sure that things were in place for the book. And where people got to know a lot about 40 Things by 40 was through her social media page. So apart from my friends that got it by email, she started putting it on her social media page, and that just went out to everyone. And that was so amazing. So I want to say a big thank you to my wife, Toyin. I don't think I said a thank you to Called Out Music. How many of you enjoyed Called Out Music tonight? Yeah, on the keyboard. So he's having a concert next week Saturday, I believe it is, the 10th of November. And it's going to be an amazing event. So there are tickets available outside, and if they're none, then just contact us. We can get you in touch with him to get more tickets. But it's going to be an amazing concert. And I told him about this, and at short notice, he said, you know what, I'll come to this event. So help me say a big thank you to Called Out Music as well. And thank you to all of you that showed up, despite the traffic on a Saturday evening and all the difficulties to get here. You are here, and I'm so grateful to every single one of you. I appreciate all of you loads for being here tonight. My Bushy crew, my guys from Bushy, we always bump into each other on the train when we're going to work in the morning. You're all here. Thank you to you. So we have come to the end of the evening. And yeah, am I missing anything else? Yeah, okay, great. So thank you, everyone, and have a great night as you leave.
Can we appreciate Lalu Opebi, please? Okay, like he said, yes, we've come to the end of the day, but before you go, we just want to let you know that his 40 things you need to learn by 40, the book on the corner on my right. There'll be a book signing. You get a special signature from him. The book costs only £10. I promise you it's a value for money, and you will get a lot from it. If you are 40 or before 40 or when you turn 40, you will gain a lot from it, okay? So thank you very much. Hope you have a safe trip back home. And don't forget to get a copy for yourself and for a friend. Thank you. Have a good evening. Peace.